Watch as Senator Chris Coons questions FBI Director Kash Patel about firings, budget cuts, and shifting priorities at the Bureau. The exchange centers on leadership decisions and their impact on public safety.
There's a number of issues I hope that we can speak to. I want to start by reading something you said to me during your confirmation hearing under oath. I have no interest, no desire, and will not, if confirmed, go backwards. There will be no politicization at the FBI. Then you looked me in the eyes and said there will be no retribution actions taken by the FBI should I be confirmed as director. I told you that in your office. I tell you that again today. I'm concerned that that's not what's happened, that since you took over as director, you've forced out senior leaders across the Bureau, in particular targeting those that worked on investigations of President Trump. The former acting director has just sued you for firing him for political reasons. So did a leader in the DC field office. And the well-respected leader of the Salt Lake City office was pushed out last month, leaving that office shorthanded at a particularly difficult time. I'm worried that these actions compromise the Bureau's ability to keep Americans safe. Hundreds of agents have resigned. You are lowering application standards to fill vacancies. You've reassigned large numbers of agents to work on immigration and street crime, issues other law enforcement agencies can handle, perhaps more effectively with the FBI. But I'm concerned that this compromises the Bureau's ability to address national security risks, uniquely its capability. In fact, you've shut down the Office of Integrity and Compliance, which makes sure that agents act in a lawful and ethical way, and reassign staff away from domestic terrorism investigations exactly at a moment I think we are all concerned about it. I also have to ask, you came before the Appropriations Committee in May and told us you wanted a $500 million budget cut for the FBI, literally an effort to defund the police. I am grateful for the work of the men and women of the FBI. They've done great work this year in Delaware, partnering with the Dover Police Department to support human trafficking victims, partnering with the Middletown Police Department on armed robbery and carjacking. And it's urgent, I think, that we fix the direction and the prioritization within the FBI. And I wish we could focus on those efforts today. But I'm seeing an FBI leadership more focused on social media clout and on political revenge than on fighting crime. Director, have you ever ordered that an FBI employee be terminated because he or she worked on an investigation into President Trump?
Senator, thank you. One quick correction for the record. There's 280 NV investigations. I gave the incorrect number to Senator Hawley. Thank you.
Understood.
As far as a lot of your statement, I disagree with it, and I'm happy to address it. But the only way, generally speaking, an individual is terminated at the FBI is if they have violated their oath of office, violated the law, or failed to uphold the standards that we need them to have at the FBI.
So those who say that they've been fired because of working on investigations into President Trump are lying or misrepresenting?
Well, those matters are alleged in litigation, which is ongoing, so I can't comment on those specifically.
Could you comment on why you fired former acting FBI Director Driscoll?
I can't because it's ongoing litigation.
Could you say now definitively under oath that the rank and file agents who were assigned to work January 6 cases will not be terminated because that's what they were assigned to do?
I've said it before and I've said it again. Your case assignment, as I was given case assignments when I was a young prosecutor, does not dictate your career or your termination.
Thank you. Then let me go to the appropriations question. In May, you testified before the subcommittee on which I served, defending the president's request that we slash the FBI's budget by about $500 million. The day before, you testified the opposite in front of the House. Where are we in terms of the budget request? Senator Graham earlier said if you're requesting more funding for more agents, let us know. We're nearing the end of the fiscal year. In front of the committee on which I serve here in the Senate, your request was for a reduction of hundreds of millions of dollars. Where are we?
Where we are in the budget cycle is we at the FBI are in support of the president's budget, and we are in support of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We've already identified tens of millions of dollars of duplicative contracts that the FBI was spending on software and private sector engagements. We've also identified duplicative workloads. So we are transitioning those folks out of doing the same thing twice over and into the field. And that's my focus right now. And the move of the FBI headquarters is also going to save the FBI $3.5 billion in the American taxpayers. So we're focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. And as I told Senator Graham, if I'll go back and talk to my team, and if we need more, we'll let you know.
Are you planning any additional reductions in force, Director?
No.
How many vacancies are you currently trying to fill within the agency?
In terms of the 1811 ranks, there's a few hundred open vacancies that we have funded. And so we're filling all of those with our hybrid 1811 program and our new recruitment program. And I think a lesser amount of IAs and SOS.
So if hundreds of agents have retired or taken the fork in the road offer, and you have vacancies, but you're requesting 500 million less, how does having fewer FBI agents help you tackle violent crime and address our national security issues?
Just to put it in perspective,
cybersecurity
Senator,
issues?
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. If we had this 500 million, we've done the math. It would take us 14 years to onboard every vacancy that's on the books currently at the FBI, because we can't hire these folks and train them overnight. It's a years-long process. So we are currently focused on recruiting the best and filling the positions to the best of our needs. And we, even if we had this extra money, wouldn't be able to hire them overnight. We're looking for where the need is greatest, where in the country we need to send them, and how we can change the training requirements, which is why I'm thrilled to have police officers. They might not have a college degree, but they got the street smarts and the cop smarts to become FBI agents, and that's what we want.
This exchange between Senator Chris Coons and FBI Director Kash Patel captures a moment of intense scrutiny and accountability. Coons begins by holding Patel to his own words from the confirmation hearing, reminding him of the promises to avoid politicization and retribution at the FBI. The senator's questions immediately highlight a perceived gap between those assurances and the actions Patel has taken since becoming director. Specifically, the removal of senior leaders, including those involved in investigations related to former President Trump, and the resignation of hundreds of agents. Coons frames these actions not as abstract administrative decisions, but as choices with real consequences for national security and public safety. By pointing out the reassignment of agents to street crime and immigration matters, as well as the shutdown of the Office of Integrity and Compliance, Coons underscores the potential risks of misaligned priorities at a critical time. The questioning reveals concern that political considerations may be influencing operational decisions, raising serious questions about whether the FBI can effectively carry out its unique mission under Patel's leadership. Patel's responses attempt to draw a clear distinction between allegations and proven facts, emphasizing that terminations follow violations of law or standards, and that case assignments, including January 6th investigations, do not dictate an agent's career outcomes. His repeated references to ongoing litigation act as a shield, limiting what he can discuss publicly, yet the exchange illustrates the tension between oversight and the agency's internal discretion. Coons presses further, challenging Patel on inconsistencies in budget testimony and the practical implications of significant cuts alongside staffing vacancies. The discussion about the $500 million budget reduction brings forward another dimension of accountability. Coons questions how fewer FBI agents and lower application standards could possibly meet the Bureau's mission of combating violent crime and national security threats. Patel counters with explanations of long-term recruitment and training plans, emphasizing efficiency, fiscal responsibility, and the value of police experience. However, the senator's line of questioning highlights the immediate operational gap that may result from these leadership and resource decisions. What makes this exchange significant is Coons's methodical approach. He ties leadership decisions to tangible consequences, resignations, reassigned personnel, and potential lapses in national security, forcing Patel to respond beyond policy platitudes. Patel's answers, while procedural and cautious, reflect the complexities of managing a large federal agency under intense political and public scrutiny. The interplay between oversight and executive decision-making is on full display, providing viewers with a clear sense of how political, operational, and budgetary priorities intersect at the FBI. Ultimately, this conversation is about accountability and transparency. Senator Coons presses Kash Patel to justify the Bureau's direction and decisions, probing the human and institutional consequences of leadership choices. It demonstrates how congressional oversight functions as a check on federal authority, ensuring that the FBI, as a cornerstone of national security, remains focused on law enforcement priorities rather than political agendas. The exchange leaves viewers with a deeper understanding of the stakes involved when leadership decisions in a critical federal agency are questioned under oath. This is a pivotal moment showing that oversight hearings are not merely procedural. They are arenas where accountability, integrity, and the public interest are rigorously tested. Coons's questions and Patel's answers together illuminate the delicate balance between operational autonomy and democratic oversight in one of the country's most powerful institutions.